Hello friends, we'll see today loop optimization, and to look into the loop optimization techniques, we need to understand what are the ways in which through which we can identify how the loop could be optimized. So first thing is we need to identify the loops. So in the optimization, you need to first of all identify the loops, and once the loops are identified, you need to apply the program flow analysis. So program flow graph. So program flow graph is used to generate the control flow graph. So control flow graph would be created using program flow graph on the loops, and once this is done, so the outcome of this would be the basic blocks. So we will see all these things. What is that? Basic blocks. Right, and once these basic blocks are identified, what is this basic block basically? See, it is nothing but a 3 address code. So any code which is going to be generated, all these codes would be a 3 address code. Right, what is 3 address code? We will see that. So any instruction, let's say move ax, bx, cx. So these are 3 operands in any of the instructions. So whenever there are 3 operands in the instruction, we normally call it as a 3 address code. Right. And once this 3 address code is there, from this we are supposed to identify the various leaders. So leaders are supposed to be identified from this basic blocks. So understand, once these basic blocks are available, there will be only one exit and no intermediate exit would be possible from this. So no exit in between. Or you can say there is no exit from the block. So once there is a block which is identified, there will not be any exit from this block. So no exit from the block. So what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is that to apply the optimization, we need to identify the loops, and from this on these loops, we are going to identify the basic blocks through the control flow analysis technique. And basic blocks will be having multiple blocks available with us, and at the end we are going to have the leaders which will be there. So we are interested to see what is the meaning of all of this. So let me give you one example of that, and then we will be in a position to take it forward. Right, okay, so what I am saying is, let's say this is one basic block B1. Okay, then there is another basic block B2, basic block B3, basic block B4. So there are various basic blocks which we have identified, and it is possible, there is going to be only one exit from the block and only one entry. There is no intermediate level of exits which are going to be there. So this, let's say this is one entire code which is available, and on this code, which is nothing but a 3 address code, what we have done is we have identified various blocks. Okay, we have identified various blocks, and let's say B2 is making a jump to B4. B2 is making a jump to B4, and let's say this is not there. Okay, so there is no issue at all here, and this B3 is making a backward jump to B2. So what is the meaning of this? If you see here, there is a possibility of cycle. So cycle indicates that there is a loop. So from this program flow analysis, program flow graph and control flow analysis, what we can see is we are coming up with various blocks for the code. So what we are going to initially have is something like the codes, which will be something like high level language. So normally high level language is going to be there with us, and this high level language will be nothing like for loop, right? It is going to have for loop. So this for like statements are going to get converted into intermediate code. So this is going to get converted to intermediate code by the help of intermediate code generator, right? So intermediate code generator will do what? This for loop will be converted by at the intermediate level into if, then and go to. So if, then and go to. So there is like any for loop or while loop. All this for loop and while loop will no more be available at the intermediate level. All of these codes are going to get converted into if, then, else or go to statement. And then once this type of codes are available, this is nothing but an intermediate code. This code would be converted or submitted to the code optimization part. So what we are talking here is code optimization, wherein we need to identify the loops, and loops will be basically what it will be nothing but if then go to and such type of statement. So if you see here, we are having some graph, and this graph is having various basic blocks, and these basic blocks, there could be a possibility of cycle. So if there is a cycle, it is having some special meaning, right? And finding the basic block becomes very much important. So in order to find the basic blocks, we need to find the leaders in the program, right? And then the basic block will start from one leader, then to the next leader, but not including the next leader. So in that way, it is going to be that. So what is the meaning of that is, there is this block B1, this block B1 will include the statements up to the last of the block, will be include the statement last up to the block, but will not include the beginning of the next leader. So B2 first instruction will never be part of B1. So that is the meaning of that. So to identify the leader in the basic block, there are certain rules to be followed. So we'll see those rules and then we'll look into it. So let us note down the rules first of all, and then we'll see how the things are followed. This was just a small example to understand that what basic blocks we are talking of and how it could be done or it could be extracted, that we are supposed to see. Okay, so identifying the leaders in the basic block. Okay, so if you see this, the first statement is always going to be a leader. First statement is always going to be a leader. So this is rule number 1. What is rule number 2? Rule number 2 states that statement that is targeted, that means what? The jump, go to, or maybe jump statement, right? Or targeted or unconditional statement like jump. Unconditional statement is a leader, right? Statement is a leader. So this is second step. First statement is a leader. Second is statement that is a target or unconditional statement is a leader. And the third rule is statement that follows immediately the conditional and unconditional statement is a leader. So statement that follows conditional and unconditional statement is a leader. So these are the 3 rules that we need to understand, and with the help of these 3 rules we are going to identify the various basic blocks, right? So continuing further, we'll take one small example and then we would be in a position to understand it more better. Okay, so if time permits, you may note it down. Fine. Or if you are not able to understand it, maybe you can scroll this video multiple times and then you will be in a position to understand it more clearly. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll see one example of a factorial and then try to find out the basic blocks and the leaders within that. Right, so example is of a factorial. So what is that? So with the function factorial of x, we are supposed to write the function of factorial. So what will be that is integer, let's say f is equal to 1, right? Then for I equal to 2, I'm just writing the loop. For I is equal to 2, then what will be there? I is less than equal to x, I plus plus, okay? Then factorial is equal to factorial into I. Factorial, okay, f is the variable, so f is equal to f into I, right? And then at the end I need to return something, so return f So this is the example of a factorial. Right. Now what will be the intermediate code for this? So once this is done, we need to generate the intermediate code. What is the equivalent intermediate code for this? So intermediate code for this would be uh, let me write this out. Okay. Please note it down, and at the same time you need to see that what would be the intermediate code on the, just write it on one side the C high level code and on the other side the intermediate code. So what would be the intermediate code? So let's say f is equal to 1, then the initialization was I is equal to 2. What else was required? If I is greater than x, right, what was the condition? It has to go to something, right? It has to go to something. Let us keep it at one side, and then we'll see, we'll finish up all the remaining things. T2, let's say temporary one, T1 is equal to f into I, and f is equal to T1, T2 is equal to I plus 1, and I is equal to T2. Then what will be the next thing? Go to, let's say something, go to dash, and anything else is there. So go to the calling program, which is the main program. Go to the main program, go to calling program. Right. So let me number it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay. So f is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, and the statement, what was the rule for the leader? Leader means what? The first statement is a leader, right? So that is, this is the first statement which is going to be a leader. So I am saying that this is my block 1. Okay, and the second part is that a conditional statement, wherever it is going to do a target jump, no, that is also going to be a leader. So let's say here it is go to 9. So if I is greater than x, then it has to return. So go to 9. So this is going to be there. So this is, I am writing here star to indicate that it is a leader entry point. Okay, and go to 9. The statement immediately following a conditional transfer, statement which is immediately following a transfer is going to be a leader. So this is going to be a leader. Okay, then what is the next leader? Then the next leader is go to, I think go to 3. So here there is I equal to 2 and it has to remain inside the loop if the condition is not satisfied. So go to 3, right? So what is the meaning of this is that if a target, no, whenever we say it, go to something, so that itself becomes a leader. So this also is a leader. And statement following the unconditional transfer or a conditional transfer is also a leader. So this 9 is also a leader. So what is the meaning of this is, this is one block, which is I am saying B2, then this is B3 till this, except the statement which is present inside the other block, right? So this is B2, B3, and then there is something like B4, right? So this is another star. Are you getting it? So B1, B2, B3 and B4, these are the 4 blocks which we have identified. Now if you draw the small, if you want to put up the diagram in the diagrammatic form, then what it will be like? See, B1 is giving the content to B2, so in this way it is passing, and then from B2 it is going to B3, right? B1, then B2, then B3, and then from B3 it is passing to again B2. So there is a cycle in this way which is going to be present, and from B2 it is possible that it may make a jump to the outside, right? It may jump out of the for loop. So this is indirectly a for loop. For loop is internally getting converted into if then go to statement, right? So that is part of intermediate code generation. Then B4 is also there. So from which place it is going to make a jump? From B2 it is possible. From B2 it is possible to go to B4, right? So B2 to B4 there is a possibility which exists, right? So this is how no, the loop is identified. So how the loop is identified? Loop is identified by applying the control flow analysis using program flow graph techniques. Right. So once we have identified the loop, we need to apply the loop optimization. So there are various loop optimization techniques. We will see little later.